So the Heat are trying to trade for Jae Crowder. It seems like we've been talking about this for a month, all offseason. Jae Crowder's like, get me out of here to the Phoenix Suns. And I've said this repeatedly. Landry Shamet, Jae Crowder, and I don't even... So Duncan Robinson's the only way I see that this is getting done. But I don't believe... And supposedly I've had people from, the Suns fans have told me, hey, the Suns have told them, no, you can't trade us any picks with Duncan Robinson for, Jae Crowder. Now, Jae Crowder is making $10 million. They don't really have anyone who can, perfectly match that salary. So when I look at this, okay, $10 million, and you have Landry Shamet making 9.5, it brings you to almost like 19.7. So who's making 19.7 in the NBA? Obviously, we got our guy Duncan Robinson, who's making just around that amount of money, which works out perfectly if they were trying to do that. Duncan's making 16.9, and then they could package somebody else and get the job done. But no, okay? What I think you can do is see if you can trade Duncan Robinson, to a team like... I don't even know if you could convince the Boston, I don't think Boston would be there, but could you convince a team like... If everything's going to shit in Sacramento, maybe you try to take him. But Harrison Barnes is expiring, and Duncan Robinson isn't expiring. Duncan Robinson has so much left on this contract. So that's why I was thinking, like, if Boston wanted to get rid of Derek White, and you trade him a shit ton of picks for Derek White, and you send Derek White to Phoenix, and Phoenix sends you Shaman and Jae Crowder and Duncan and, like, 2 first-round picks to Boston. Then Boston sends Derek White. But the Boston would never do that, okay? That's what I'm saying. Boston would never do that. And supposedly Lauri Markkanen's getting a true shot over there. Unless Davis Bertans wants to get... And that's the thing. Could Davis Bertans and, like, Frank Ntilikina, Davis Bertans and somebody else off the bench... I don't know who. I think really Frank Ntilikina is the only guy that I really would trade off with the feel like expendable on the Mavericks. So Frank Ntilikina and Davis Bertans, to the Phoenix Suns, and then you send Jae Crowder and Landry Shamet to the Miami Heat. But that's not enough to coerce me to do any deal. That's not really that good of a deal to me. And that's the problem, like trying to find a deal for the Heat, unless you can convince. And this is like why, the Cavaliers wouldn't do it, because I was going to say you try to get Kevin Love involved, but that's not going to happen at all. And it just becomes really hard. And supposedly Utah doesn't want shit to do that, because Utah would be the easiest trade partner to try to see Mike Conley or someone. So it's like really hard to find somebody in the NBA that you're trying to trade for. The only other way I could see this happening is if like Scary Terry Rozier was trying to leave Charlotte, and you send Duncan Robinson to Charlotte, and Charlotte's fully trying to tank. And that's the, only way I see that happening. And I just think it's just a hard situation for them to try and get themselves, our guy, Jae Crowder. It has to involve being able to trade away our man, Duncan Robinson. And I don't know if there's anyone willing to bite on that. It just feels like trying to trade for Jae Crowder without, like, nobody wants our man. Like, nobody wants Duncan Robinson. I just think that's the hardest part of this whole entire deal that you're trying to sell, is who's going to take Duncan. And there's no one. It feels like there's no one to take Duncan, because it's Duncan freaking Robinson. And, like, he's not bad. He's not a bad person, but his reputation seems like it's squandered in the NBA. I think unrightfully so. It's not that he's a bad player. It's just that people are acting like he's overpaid. And it's kind of like almost like a Kyle Korver situation. I think he'll have a resurgence. He had one bad shooting year after having, like, 2 good years. So it's just a matter of due time for him to figure everything out. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Are you guys on the same page as me, or is this just me and I'm just sounding like an idiot? But that's basically it for me. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Dude, I gotta finish this, like, discussion post. Not excited. So I think it's like, all right, bye.